my face think I'm crazy. A lot of people think we're all crazy. A line that my mum throws up to me quite often whenever I see him is, isn't it about time you got a job? And I figure I've got one. At my age, there aren't too many guys who've got the responsibilities that I've got.
Midday, Saturday. A nameless town somewhere in outback Australia. The three men in the truck have been driving since early morning from some other nameless town hundreds of kilometres away. They'll be on their feet till midnight, and then sometime early tomorrow morning they'll be back in the truck again, driving hundreds more kilometres to yet another town. It's an 18-hour day, and they'll keep up that pace for 9 months out of 12. In each town their destination is the same, the back entrance of the local hall. Never the front, that's reserved for their employers. Three o'clock in the afternoon. 3.5 tons of gear have been lugged into the hall. Musical instruments, the sophisticated electronic equipment to make those instruments ear-splitting loud, kaleidoscopic props to bend the kids' minds as well as their ears.
We started on it, what, 2 hours ago? A bit over 2 hours.
2 hours?
Oh, 3.
What time is it now? It's about,
Yeah, 4:30.
We were here at 12:30.
Yeah, we got in at 1, about 3.5 hours. But we've been slack. The way things are going with the support band late with some equipment, it looks like we're going to finish when the show finishes. So we'll probably be out of here by 1:30, 2 o'clock if we're lucky.
So there it is. 8 hours driving, 3 hours to set up the equipment, 2 hours to rehearse, 4 hours to work the show, 2 more hours to lug the equipment back onto the truck, and then the whole thing starts over again. Their employers are a highly successful touring rock group, and they're making a lot of money right now. They call themselves Hush.
You say that you love me all of the time. You say that you need me. You'll always be mine. Ooh, I'm feeling.
Up front, in the spotlight, Hush turn the kids on as they always do. And in the wings, the roadies keep the show running smoothly. Head roadie is Philip Eastick, 23, former law student. He works the sound.
You'll never be blue. You have no
Philip's brother Mike, 18, special effects and lights.
Ooh, I'm feeling.
Dave Horton, 29, an old pro from the European pop circuit. He's the troubleshooter, with a watching brief to fix things up when they go wrong, quickly.
That's your mind. Hey, the other girls.
The roadies get no applause, no fan mail from the teenagers who pack the halls. Their job is indispensable, but they themselves are not. One mistake and it's out the door. So why do they do it?
You do it because you'd rather do this than anything else. You'd rather sort of beat your brains out day in and day out, 18, 19, sometimes 24 hours a day, because it's what you like to do. You like to put on a show. It's hard work, it really is, but you like to put on a show, and you like to. Really, it's a test. It's I don't know whether it's ego or what it is, but it's a test of yourself to see just how much you can endure or put up with and still make it happen, and make it happen as well as it can happen.
Oh!
Hush and the roadies have been making it happen very successfully now for the past 3 years. While the band's on tour, 1,000 kids a night pay $4 each to watch the show. Some will dance, the more courageous will scream and swoon for their rock idols. Enough of the excitement rubs off on the roadies to make them believe it's all worthwhile. They really get a kick out of making it all happen. For the crowds, the band, and the band's manager, Peter Ricks.
They're just a breed of people that until I became involved in this business, I'd never really met anybody like the conglomerate, the group of them together.
The gold records on Peter Ricks's wall symbolised the complex strategy of managing a successful pop group, because the really big money in this business lies in record sales. Road tours serve to put the band before the public, and the public hopefully buy the records. Hush has sold a lot of gold records. The road tour makes money, but there's a fine line between profit and loss. For Peter Ricks and Hush, their roadies represent that fine line.
On a tour, a Hush tour of Australia for 3 months, we will go from Darwin right around Australia to Perth. And during that time we might do 80 or 90 shows, and if just once on that tour the road crew don't make a show or roll a truck or blow up the PA and make a mistake in that area, then we're going to start really balancing on the edge of success or failure.
I think the only real problem that we encountered was one mic lead that went out. That was sort of overcome fairly quickly, and Michael had a problem with someone throwing something at the band. He sorted that out and put him outside the door fairly quickly.
We had some little darlings in the crowd tonight throwing on some lollies, and I very quickly caught hold of them, threw them out, none too gently, because they can do a lot of damage with that by hitting the guys in the eyes, things like that. I also noticed that Jacques got a cigarette end in his hair at some stage. Luckily, Keith got to that before I did and extinguished it. The kids like to enjoy the show, but I really don't enjoy having them becoming part of the show. They should sit back or stand up or whatever they're doing and just watch it.
Road crews love their bands. The boys wear their Hush t-shirts, and they will go anywhere wearing that Hush t-shirt. And if somebody puts the band down in front of them, they're just as likely to have a fight with them over it, because the relationship between that road crew and the band is one of love and affection. I mean, the road crew put up with the long hours and the lack of money and the lack of sleep and all of that because they just love the band.
Jeff Shoecraft, the tour manager, is a different sort of roadie. While the others look after the equipment, Jeff looks after the band. The usual sort of thing. Having gained the refuge of the motel, selected fans are permitted to come a little closer. For the band, the day's work is over, but Shoecraft's responsibilities have just begun. He makes sure the players get enough sleep, he looks after tomorrow's transport and accommodation, and does the books. He's servant, jailer, and accountant, handling nightly several hundred times his own salary on behalf of his employers. His nickname on tour is Mother.
you know, like once everybody comes back to the motel, you know, we've whisked them away from those girls, you know, all those girls there. God, how have we got out, I don't know. But getting them back is one thing, you know, and then getting them into their rooms, or basically once we come back, whatever we want to do is our own business or the boys' own business, you know. I've left them in the room just up there then. And sometimes you can work till about 3 in the morning if it's a big gig. Like tonight, you know, there were well over 1,000 people there, so there's a lot of things to do. Who is it? Finished already?
The truck is packed.
Tomorrow, the drive now, it's about 270 kilometres or something, I think.
Yeah. Well, what time's the access?
About 9:30. 9:30, 10 o'clock. There's $120. And Michael, can you get some explosives tomorrow too?
Should I take out what's left in that?
Yeah, well, you know, it won't take you much to get down there tomorrow. Okay, we'll see you there.
We'll see you there.
Listen, it's the All Seasons Motel, Civic Centre.
Right, we'll have it ready at 3.
Anyway, drive carefully.
Always. See you there.
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow. Right.
See you soon. They hate me for it.
While the players play on into the night, the roadies head off for the next town. The teenage fans, dazzled by the surface glamour of the pop world, would give anything for the roadies' jobs, swinging around the country with a top rock group. The reality, of course, is quite different. Long hours, dusty, smelly truck cabins, strained backs, skin knuckles, rubbishy takeaway food. No sleep, no glory. As the cliche goes, just another show in just another town.
Well, after about 2.5 months, you start to go numb, and every day becomes just another day. And you're starting to do things from memory. You've been doing it every day, so you just do it. You figure out how far you've got to go, you just do it. We're probably doing it the hardest way that it can be done, because you're leaving as soon as you finish some fairly hard physical work. You're not rested, you generally don't have time for a shower, a clean-up. You get into the truck and it's exactly the same as when you got out of it. And you drive. And most of the areas that we cover, come breakfast time, there's nowhere to stop for breakfast anyway. If you're lucky, there's a couple of petrol stops, otherwise it's a couple of cans of petrol in the back.
Morning, Hush, your breakfast?
Good morning.
For the group, it's breakfast in bed, while the roadies push on to the next town.
Thanks, mate.
Morning hangovers for the band, morning hassles for the tour manager.
I think the boys should see you for a while. Yeah, even apart from the hassles with the promoter.
If the boys are edgy, if there's a problem down there, OK, I can understand after so long, but it's what you're there for, and surely you can cope with it.
So, like, if you could just come up for a few days, maybe?
Yeah, no, I'll come down. The promoter situation worries me a bit, so I will come down.
Well, look, it's 9 o'clock now. I've got to get the guys on the road.
Hey, your bacon's crispier than mine.
Come on, get yourself up. We're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, we know, Jeffrey.
You have to be a PR man. You guys ready? No. Well, get yourself ready, okay? And it's PR because you're PRing the band to the public the whole time. Half an hour. You're always on a line where you're halfway between the band and the road crew. And you're sort of the communicating body. You're the one that deals with the irate hall owners, with the parents. You're the one that has to be nice to the fans in one instance and abuse hell out of them the next because they're bugging you at motels. You're the one that has to sort of handle the band's problems and keep the road crew happy but in line at the same time, diplomatically all the time.
Well rested, well breakfasted and chauffeur driven, Hush will catch up with the truck in 4 hours. The roadies have been driving non-stop for 8. That's the name of the game. With thousands of starry-eyed kids longing to call themselves roadies, the 3 workhorses of Hush are a highly dispensable item in the cold-blooded economics of pop. For the work they do, the 3 men are paid a pittance, about $1 an hour.
We should be making a lot more money and living better and all the rest of it. When you talk about being fair, I think in terms of it'd be nice to have another guy on the road so that there'd be 4 of us instead of 3 of us. And it's unfair that they won't give us one. But at the moment, that one guy would be the difference between making and breaking it financially for all of us.
Another roadie on tour would mean an extra motel room, another vehicle on the road, and another salary to be paid. Some groups take 9 roadies with them on tour, but for Hush, 3 is quite enough, particularly when they work as hard as Philip, Michael and Dave. Hush, in fact, are extremely keen students of business efficiency. For a brief period, it was a 5-piece group. The 5th member meant extra food and equipment and a very tight squeeze in the touring car. The 5 soon became 4 again. Like any high-risk enterprise, you keep your overheads to a minimum and you make as much money as you can. So much the better if the chiefs can get the Indians to work almost for the love of it with a little reflected glory thrown in.
We abuse the road crew a lot. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that they have to expect it, you know, because let's face it, if they were just normal truck drivers, if we just hired a truck driver who had to drive from Toowoomba to Cooma overnight or something, and have no sleep, have done a show, drive there, and then as soon as they get there, set up, ready to do a show with no mistakes, you know, we'd be paying out a fortune.
These 3 guys have been with us a long time at the moment, you know, and it's very rare that you find people who stay part of our road crew because of the amount of work that's involved.
We don't pay a fortune to these guys, and we can't, you know. It's just that's just all there is to it, you know. I mean, if we had to pay them what they were actually what they'd have to get.
Hours they work.
Be careful now.
Yeah,
be careful what you're saying.
Well, you know, what they'd have to get still, you know, they'd be earning a lot more money than we would be.
We expect more than I think is humanly possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely more, you know.
Dave, what do roadies want from their group?
A lot of money. Mainly. Less work and a lot of money, I think.
Unions. Call him Bob Hawke.
The main essence of a good roadie is that he cares. He's not there simply because it's a couple of $100 a week in his pocket or because he likes driving trucks or because he likes driving trucks around Australia. He's there because he cares about where the band's going, he cares about his own particular field, and he cares about all the individuals. Like, he's involved. He's not just a worker. He's involved in the whole thing.
He used to play fiddle. So he used to play fiddle, actually.
I'm doing it for a couple of $100 a week. You know, it's simple.
When people come up and ask him, does he work with the band? He says, yeah. And they ask him, what do they play? What does he play? He says, second fiddle, usually. That's true. Yeah.
That's what he does.
I think with most roadies, where they fall down is that they want to be a pop star. There's this whole image of people looking at the stage and everything, and they don't realise they're there to work, and they get stuck in that they want to be a star as well.
Yeah, roadies want to be stars, and they're also the ones who, in trying to be a star so hard, are the ones who are often the ones who chuck television sets out the window.
It's all their fault if we get a bad name.
And,
What?
It's true.
When have I ever checked the TV out the window?
Oh, come on.
Come on. Who always calms you lot down?
The money down, you won't chuck.
Yeah.
We've learnt a long time ago that you can't have a team of roadies who are great at their individual jobs because
roadies have as bigger egos, if not bigger, than a lot of the people in bands. Often when the road crews that we've had before have had conflicting egos, and they haven't been able to work together. At least these guys can keep it under control, and they work together well. For how long, I don't know. But at least they work together well, and the job gets done, and that's the most important thing.
Mostly.
What is the care time for this one? How are you going? All right?
The idea is to take 4 guys who are on the road, who are a working rock and roll band, and exploit them and make money for them and make life as happy for them as possible. And believe it or not, make life happy for me. As an enjoyment thing.
Exploitation seems a pretty hard word for that.
No, it's just that it's not always relevant, nor is it ever very often used for entertainment, but it's the truth.
Backstage at all. The band, the road crew and myself, that's all that's on stage during the performance. A kid could run on stage and the gush of flame could just come out and flash them in the face. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head as well as in the front of your head. can't stand being still and staying still in the same place. I have to have excitement and people around me the whole time to keep me going and to keep everything flowing. It might kill me, but I love doing it. Everybody in the business knows that they wouldn't do anything else. To see those kids when I'm on stage every night screaming and sweating and really enjoying themselves, it just really pumps my adrenaline.
Every night I sit down by my bed with a picture in my head, like a picture on the wall. It helps me through the night.
The flash of that 6th or 7th show is just so incredible that you hang in there through all the rest, because we're all dreaming that every show can be like that. That every show, like, forget how hard it is to get into the hall, forget about what power problems you might have or what sort of hall keeper you run into. But the show, like, from when I hit the tape to bring the band on to when we say goodnight and turn the house lights back on, what we're after is to make that perfect every night.
In a world where the failures vastly outnumber the success stories, Hush are very good at their job. They survive, and they make money, and they look like staying around for some time to come. Philip Eastick came to Hush as roadie number 28 and lasted longer than anyone else. During the 8 weeks it took to make this film, Hush acquired a new bass player, dumped their manager, dropped their former lighting man, and moved through roadies 29, 30, 31 and 32.